Here is our lesson where we're going to start animating our logo. So once you've had your logo created in Adobe Illustrator, which we did in the last video, we're going to now make it so that it looks something like this. I'll show you, this is my finished product in After Effects, and then I'll backtrack and I'll walk you step by step in how to achieve this. So here is what we want to do. Here my logo appears in an animation, and that's it. And you can use this, you can put it at the beginning of your commercials or end of your video commercials, but it just adds a little bit extra to your logo design and your brand. So how we're going to go and do this is I'm going to open up, I'm going to start from the beginning. So I'm going to actually save this. And I'll walk you step by step in After Effects on how to do that, what I just did. So if you go to your applications and open up the program After Effects, so when we begin a new After Effects project, you can either open an existing project, or you can, most of the time, if you're starting a new project, you click on New Composition. So here, generally, we are using HDV 1080-25 or 1080-29.97. I'm going to go with 25 frames per second this time. Pixel aspect ratio, I'm going to make it square pixels. And here is where you want to look at the duration. So here I've set it to about 10 seconds. That's more than enough time for your composition. And I've selected my background color to be white. So I just select on that and I make it as white as possible because I had black in my logo. So if I had a black background, it would not show up. Okay, so you press OK. I'm going to name this composition Animating Logo Lesson 1. Okay, and I press OK. So here now I have something called a composition, and it basically is kind of like a board where you can start everything. In the video, another video, I would have gone through just the general elements of After Effects, so the different panels and where some of the different functions can be found, and really it is just playing around with it on your own to get familiar with the program. So if you see here now, this is what a composition looks like. It's a little icon there, and that's the composition I've just created. So we're going to go ahead and import our Adobe Illustrator file, if you remember. So I'm going to go to File, Import File, and it was something that I named Media Advertising Logo 1. It's an Adobe Illustrator file. And the key here is to import it as composition retain layer sizes. Okay, and you press OK. And then you're going to get, they're going to create an automatically create another composition and also a folder with the layers that was in your Adobe Illustrator file. So if you remember here, this was my Adobe Illustrator file and I had all the layers here. So now that we have all these layers, I don't really need layer 1, but layer 5 to 7 for me was the logo and the letters for me. So I'm going to take these layers and drag them down to my composition. So here now they've separated all into different layers, and I'm going to go ahead and rename. So if you right click and doesn't work for me. If you select one, right click and rename, I'm going to name it what it actually is so that it helps me out. So this one, the first one is, I'm going to call this, rename it the logo image. The second one was this here where it's the Chan, so I'm going to just rename it Chan. And here, the last one, I'm going to rename it what it was, which was N Media. Okay, that just helps me to understand which one is which. And the general rule of thumb when you're working in After Effects in your composition is that you want to have it kind of like layers of a cake. The top layer is what you see most of. So I'm going to take logo image and bring it up to the top. Then I'm going to bring channel, that for me appears second, and then the last part is last. So now I'm going to go ahead and just turn off in the eye here, turn off so I don't see this, so I just see my logo. And something that's very helpful is to use something, there's a little icon here called Choose Grid and Guide Options, and you can have a proportional grid on your composition, and that helps you just to kind of be able to see where it is divided up in terms of on the screen. So you want it to be as centered as possible. Another way to do this is if you go to expand, the triangle button is always to expand, under logo image transform, there's something called P position. A shortcut key to get here is called, just press P. And here you can adjust the position by numbers, so you can be very specific. So I'm going to keep mine, I'm going to keep mine right here. And first of all, then we're now going to animate it. So I am going to look for, under here, animation presets, I'm going to look for something maybe like a dissolve. Okay, something very simple. So dissolve, maybe a fade flash to white, because since we have a white background. So I'm going to take this fade and flash to white, and this is where you can become very creative with your animations. Of course, if you look at real advertisements, normally don't have a lot of crazy things going on, just very simple. So I'm going to choose flash to white, and here is a panel called the Effect Controls. And I'm going to go ahead, take this fade flash to white animation and drop it in to my effects controls. Here's where we're going to do something called keyframing. And keyframing is basically where you are going to be taking a certain time, and right now you can see that it's already kind of keyframed it for me under effects. Keyframe is essentially saying from 1 second to another frame, what do you want it to change? So here it's done that for us. You can change everything from the opacity, you can make it more opaque, less opaque, but transition. But I'm pretty happy with this transition wipe, so I'm actually not going to change too much of it. It's 1 second of just a transition. Then I'm going to minimize this, and then I want to now select my letters. So the first one, I'm going to go down here and see this, and my letters, I'm going to actually move this up here so I can be a little bit more symmetrical. And I want my letters to appear right here. So for Chan, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try something different, maybe a wipe, transition wipes. I'm going to try something like a linear wipe. So here's a linear wipe, and selecting the Chan, which is the text that I want to animate now, I'm just going to go over here, grab linear wipe, drop it in my Effect Controls panel, expose this, and if you see here, these dots here tell you kind of generally when the animation is happening. So between 2 to 3 seconds, animation of a linear wipe is happening. If I want to change this, this is where why this program is so powerful, because you can change every aspect of it. You can keyframe. So if you look here, this little toggle button is, when it's on, that means that you can create these keyframes, which are right here, these yellow diamonds. So here, this is the first keyframe. In the first keyframe, it says here the transition complete is 0, and the last keyframe, is where it should say 100. Okay. So I'm going to make this a little bit faster. I'm going to move this keyframe, and you'll notice that the wipe happens a bit faster. I want it maybe a little bit faster. Okay, and then I'm going to try to animate my last part, and I'm going to see this. I'm going to move this here. And I'm going to do something similar and just also put the linear wipe in there. So now it kind of automatically does it for me, but I can change some of the timing here. Make it a little bit faster so it's not so slow. And I'm going to do something actually I didn't do with this Chan, and I'm going to use something called the feather. So around here, I'm going to select the feather, and I'm going to make it maybe 50%. Let's see what that does to my text. So see here, feather. You can see there's a little bit of a feathering going on now. And you can do that with both of them. I set them at 50%. So here, I've just very simply created an animation. If you go back and you play it, because I've ungrouped all the layers in Adobe Illustrator, I'm able to now in After Effects animate each one separately and have something that would appear in my commercial as an animated logo. So have fun with your animations, and I look forward to seeing them.